Welcome to the executive summary. Ray Dalio, founder of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates, shares the unconventional principles that guided his success in both business and life. If understanding the mindset of a legendary investor and leader is the kind of edge you are looking for, like this video and subscribe now. Here is what you need to know. Most leaders believe that success is primarily a matter of talent or luck. Ray Dalio, however, spent decades proving that this assumption is fundamentally flawed. He discovered that consistent, extraordinary achievement stems not from innate genius, but from a systematic application of timeless principles derived from confronting reality and learning relentlessly from mistakes. To ignore this truth is to condemn oneself and one's organization to cycles of avoidable errors, missed opportunities, and suboptimal performance. Without a clear, codified framework for decision-making and problem-solving, leaders remain reactive, their progress erratic, and their potential unfulfilled. The cost is measured in stalled careers, underperforming teams, and objectives left unmet. By the end of this summary, you will possess a clear, actionable framework for identifying and applying the fundamental truths that govern success. You will learn how to transform challenges into opportunities for continuous improvement, cultivate an environment of radical truth, and systematically achieve your most ambitious goals, both personally and professionally. This analysis distills the wisdom of a man who built one of the world's most successful hedge funds from nothing, a methodology proven across decades and countless high-stakes decisions, now made accessible for every leader. Let us delve into the profound insights that underpin Dalio's transformative philosophy. Ray Dalio's Principles, Life and Work, is not merely a book. It is a meticulously crafted operating manual for navigating the complexities of existence and achievement. Penned by the founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of history's most successful hedge funds, it distills the wisdom accumulated over a lifetime of high-stakes decision-making and organizational innovation. Dalio, recognized by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people in the world, built Bridgewater from a modest two-bedroom apartment into an institution that has generated more wealth for its clients than any other hedge fund globally. His credentials are not academic. They are forged in the crucible of real-world financial markets and the relentless pursuit of an exceptionally effective organizational culture. Published in 2017, Principles emerged from Dalio's profound realization that suboptimal decision-making, both individually and collectively, stems from a fundamental failure to confront reality, learn effectively from mistakes, and systematize an approach to recurring challenges. He observed that most people and organizations are trapped in cycles of repeating errors, often due to ego, blind spots, or an aversion to uncomfortable truths. This book was his answer, a rigorous, systematic framework designed to overcome these inherent human failings. Principles quickly became a landmark in leadership literature because it offers far more than anecdotal advice. It provides a comprehensive, almost scientific methodology for life and work, rooted in the twin pillars of radical truth and radical transparency. These concepts, which Dalio attributes directly to Bridgewater's unprecedented success, are not abstract ideals, but practical tools for fostering an idea meritocracy to an environment where the best ideas prevail, regardless of their source. The book's blend of autobiography, life philosophy, and granular management principles, all distilled from a billionaire's lived experience, offers a unique and profoundly practical guide for personal and organizational effectiveness. It is a text devoured by a diverse array of ambitious leaders, Fortune 500 CEOs, entrepreneurs, investors, and anyone committed to elevating their decision-making and achieving sustained growth. Its relevance extends beyond the corporate world, offering systematic approaches applicable to management, military strategy, and personal development. The central argument is clear and compelling. Success in any domain is not accidental. It is the direct result of systematically identifying, codifying, and consistently applying timeless principles derived from a candid confrontation with reality and an unwavering commitment to learning from every experience. This book empowers the reader to transform every challenge into an opportunity for continuous, systematic improvement. The first foundational principle Dalio espouses is the absolute necessity of embracing radical truth and radical transparency. This is not merely about honesty. It is about cultivating an environment where every individual is not only permitted but actively encouraged to speak their mind, even when the truth is uncomfortable and where all relevant information is openly shared across the organization. Dalio posits that confronting radical truth to seeing reality precisely as it is, rather than as one wishes it to be, is the bedrock of effective problem solving. It demands a brutal honesty with oneself and with others. Complementing this is radical transparency, the practice of openly sharing information, data, and feedback. This combination, he argues, is crucial for identifying and addressing problems head-on, preventing misunderstandings that fester in secrecy, and ultimately building profound trust within a team or organization. It strips away the politics and posturing, forcing issues to the surface where they could be collectively examined and resolved. Consider the operational model at Bridgewater Associates itself. The firm famously records nearly all meetings, making these recordings available to relevant employees. This practice, initially startling to outsiders, creates a culture where issues cannot be swept under the rug. Everyone has access to the same information, fostering a shared understanding of reality and promoting what Dalio terms an idea meritocracy, where the strength of an argument, not the seniority of its proponent, dictates its adoption. This level of transparency ensures that decisions are based on the most complete and accurate information available, rather than on partial truths or hidden agendas. This week, identify one difficult truth you've been avoiding within your team or organization. It might be an underperforming project, a dysfunctional process, or a difficult conversation about an individual's performance. How will you bring this truth to the surface and ensure it is discussed openly and constructively, without blame, but with a clear intent towards resolution? Dalio asserts that achieving one's goals, whether personal or professional, is not a haphazard endeavor, but a systematic process. He outlines a robust 5-step methodology that, when rigorously applied, transforms aspirations into tangible realities. His 5 steps are: 1. Have clear goals. Without precise objectives, one cannot effectively chart a course. Goals must be specific and well-defined. 2. Identify and don't tolerate problems. Problems are simply the gap between your current reality and your goal. They are not obstacles to be avoided, but signals indicating where improvement is needed. 3. Diagnose problems to get at their root causes. Superficial solutions are temporary. True progress requires understanding the fundamental reasons why a problem exists. This often involves asking why multiple times. 4. Design plans to get around problems. Once the root cause is understood, a specific, actionable plan must be created to address it directly. 5. Do what's necessary to push these designs through to results. A plan is useless without diligent execution and follow-through. This requires discipline and accountability. Dalio emphasizes that blurring these steps, or skipping any of them, inevitably leads to suboptimal outcomes. Each step builds upon the last, forming an unbreakable chain of progress. Imagine a military commander facing a significant project failure to perhaps a logistical operation that went awry. Applying Dalio's process, the commander would first clearly define the desired outcome of the mission. Next, they would meticulously identify all contributing factors to the failure, resisting the urge to assign blame prematurely. A thorough after-action review would then be conducted to determine the underlying systemic issues. Was it a training deficiency, a communication breakdown, or flawed equipment? This is the diagnosis of root causes. Based on this, new protocols, revised training modules, or equipment upgrades would be designed as solutions. Finally, these designs would be rigorously implemented and monitored, ensuring that the lessons learned translate into improved future performance. Think of a persistent problem in your own area of leadership, perhaps a recurring bottleneck or an underperforming metric. Apply Dalio's 5-step process to it this week. Start by clearly defining the goal you're trying to achieve, and then meticulously diagnose its root cause before jumping to what might be a superficial solution. Perhaps the most fundamental of Dalio's principles is the unwavering imperative to embrace reality, however harsh or unpleasant it may be. This principle dictates that understanding what is true, rather than what one wishes were true, is the only viable foundation for effective action and sustainable progress. Dalio states unequivocally that failure, in its myriad forms, is largely attributable to a refusal to accept and see reality as it actually is. Human beings have a natural tendency to shy away from uncomfortable truths, to cling to preferred narratives, or to allow ego to distort perception. However, he argues that this avoidance is a self-defeating mechanism. Only by confronting and understanding reality, no matter how uncomfortable, can one accurately diagnose problems and subsequently devise appropriate and effective treatments. It is the ultimate act of intellectual honesty. Consider the challenging position of a startup founder. They have poured their personal investment, their time, and their emotional energy into a product or service. Yet, if the market reality indicates that the product is not gaining traction, if customer feedback is consistently negative, or if competitors are outmaneuvering them, the founder must accept this reality. Clinging to a flawed vision, driven by personal attachment or hope, will only prolong the inevitable and exhaust precious resources. True leadership in this scenario demands the painful acceptance of market reality, which then enables a pivot, a complete redesign, or even the difficult decision to cease operations, all based on an accurate understanding of the situation. What uncomfortable reality are you or your team currently avoiding? It could be a difficult market trend, an internal inefficiency, or a looming competitive threat. What specific steps will you take this week to fully acknowledge and address it, rather than sidestep it or rationalize it away? To truly embrace reality and learn from it, one must overcome the inherent limitations of ego and blind spots. Dalio's solution is radical open-mindedness to the active and deliberate seeking out of the smartest people who disagree with you, and a genuine, unreserved consideration of their alternative perspectives. Dalio contends that ego, which he defines as the innate need to be right, and blind spots, which are areas where one simply cannot see one's own deficiencies, are the two greatest impediments to accurate perception and effective decision-making. Radical open-mindedness is the antidote. It involves the profound ability to explore conflicting possibilities within one's own mind and to fluidly move towards what is most likely to be true, rather than rigidly clinging to one's initial opinions or preconceived notions. It requires a willingness to be wrong, to change one's mind, and to view disagreements as learning opportunities rather than personal attacks. Imagine a senior pastor proposing a new direction for their ministry to perhaps a significant shift in community outreach or worship style. Instead of presenting a fully formed plan and seeking affirmation, a radically open-minded pastor would actively solicit critical feedback from diverse congregational leaders, including those known for their skepticism or traditional views. They would not dismiss dissent, but would genuinely engage with it, asking probing questions, understanding underlying concerns, and being prepared to incorporate valid criticisms into the final plan. This process ensures that the decision is robust, well-considered, and has buy-in from a wider cross-section of the community, ultimately leading to a more effective outcome. Identify a decision you are currently firm on, one where you feel you have all the answers. This week, seek out someone whose opinion you respect, but who you know will challenge your view. Engage in a thoughtful disagreement with them, genuinely trying to understand their perspective without immediately defending your own. What new insights emerge? A critical insight for any leader, according to Dalio, is the profound understanding that individuals are wired very differently. Effective leadership, therefore, demands recognizing and leveraging these unique strengths and weaknesses, assigning roles based on natural inclinations rather than attempting to force people into unsuitable molds. Dalio highlights that people possess distinct cognitive and emotional makeups. Some are natural innovators, others meticulous implementers, some thrive under pressure, others require stability. Effective leaders, he argues, must become adept evaluators of human beings, focusing not just on what people do, but on how they are inherently built. The overarching goal is to create a well-oiled machine to an organization where individual differences are not merely tolerated, but are strategically deployed. By putting the right people in the right roles, where their natural aptitudes are maximized, the collective success of the team is significantly enhanced. It is about understanding the unique contribution each person can make and optimizing for that. Consider a special forces unit. The leaders within such a unit possess an intimate understanding of each member's capabilities. They know that some individuals excel at reconnaissance and intelligence gathering, possessing a keen eye for detail and a calm demeanor under observation. Others are masters of close-quarters combat, exhibiting unparalleled aggression and precision. Still others are logistical experts, capable of coordinating complex supply lines in hostile environments. The unit does not attempt to make every soldier a generalist. Instead, roles are assigned to maximize each member's natural aptitudes, ensuring that the mission's success is built upon the collective strengths of a diverse and highly specialized team. This week, conduct a baseball card assessment, as Dalio suggests, for your key team members. For each individual, identify their top 3 strengths and their top 3 weaknesses. Based on this assessment, how can you re-optimize roles or responsibilities within your team to better align with these natural wirings, thereby enhancing both individual contribution and collective output? The culmination of Dalio's philosophy is the imperative to systematize one's decision-making by codifying clear, written principles. This transforms ad hoc reactions into consistent, iteratively improved actions. Dalio defines principles as fundamental truths that serve as foundations for behavior. They are enduring rules of thumb that guide actions in recurring situations, helping one to consistently achieve goals. He argues that by explicitly documenting these principles, individuals and teams can elevate their decision-making from instinctive reactions to deliberate, well-considered choices. This codification allows for consistent application, facilitates learning from experience, and enables the continuous refinement of one's approach. It turns tacit knowledge into explicit, shareable wisdom. Consider a successful entrepreneur who, after experiencing a significant and costly hiring mistake, decides to codify a hiring principle. This principle might include specific, behavior-based interview questions designed to uncover cultural fit, a multi-stage evaluation process involving diverse team members, and a mandatory trial period with clear performance metrics. By documenting this principle, the entrepreneur ensures that similar errors are prevented in the future and that every hiring decision is guided by a proven, systematic approach, leading to more consistent and effective team building. Reflect on a recurring challenge you face in your leadership role, to perhaps how you handle conflict, how you delegate tasks, or how you evaluate new opportunities. What is one principle or rule you could codify this week to guide your decision-making in similar situations, ensuring more consistent, effective, and predictable outcomes? Now, let's translate these profound insights into immediate, actionable steps you can implement this week. Move 1. The idea meritocracy audit. This week, commit to implementing a thoughtful disagreement practice in at least one of your team meetings. Before the meeting, inform your team that the goal is not consensus at all costs, but rather to surface the best ideas through rigorous, respectful challenge. Encourage team members to openly question assumptions and provide data-driven reasoning for their perspectives, emphasizing that they are challenging ideas, not people. As the leader, model radical open-mindedness by genuinely considering and acknowledging dissenting views, even if they contradict your own. Ask probing questions, invite further evidence, and be prepared to adjust your stance based on superior reasoning. Document the key points of disagreement and how they were resolved or incorporated. Move 2. Root cause analysis ritual. For any significant problem or failure that arises within your purview this week, resist the immediate urge to assign blame or jump to a quick, superficial fix. Instead, dedicate a focused 30-minute session with your relevant team members to conduct a rigorous root cause analysis. Start by defining the problem clearly, then systematically ask why, at least 5 times. For example, why did X happen? Why did that happen? Continue this iterative questioning until you uncover the underlying, systemic issues rather than just the symptoms. This ritual will shift your team's mindset from reactive problem solving to proactive prevention. Move 3. Personal Principles Playbook. Begin the essential work of documenting your own principles for recurring decisions or challenges you face in leadership. Choose one specific area where you frequently make decisions to, for instance, how you handle team conflict, how you approach delegation, or how you evaluate new strategic opportunities. For this chosen area, write down 2 to 3 clear, concise rules or guidelines that will consistently inform your actions. These should be fundamental truths that you believe will lead to the best outcomes. For example, a principle for conflict resolution might be, always address conflict directly and privately, focusing on behavior, not personality. This simple act of codification will bring clarity, consistency, and continuous improvement to your leadership. If you found these insights valuable, if they have challenged your thinking and offered a clearer path to leadership excellence, then I urge you to consider subscribing to the Executive Summary. By doing so, you ensure you never miss our deep dives into the most impactful leadership literature. Hit the notification bell to stay informed as we continue to distill the wisdom of the world's most influential thinkers and practitioners. Your journey towards becoming a more effective, principled leader is a continuous one, and we are here to guide it. Next week, we are breaking down another seminal work that promises to redefine your understanding of strategic execution. Until then, remember, true leadership is not about having all the answers, but about cultivating the principles that allow the best answers to emerge. That wraps up our look at Ray Dalio's timeless principles. We hope these insights help you in your own decision-making. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more executive summaries.